Hello, and welcome to MarriageTalkTV.org with your host, Danny and Amelia Cole. Today on Marriage Talk TV, Danny and Amelia will be discussing how to get through the rough times. Yes, each marriage faces rough times, but there are options and choices that are made during those times. Some are good, some are bad. But we're going to discuss how to set up healthy boundaries to help you overcome and get through the rough challenges that each marriage faces. So let's join our hosts, Danny and Amelia Cole, as they discuss how to get through rough times. So if you guys are ready to join us on this week's broadcast, Danny and Amelia Cole, Marriage Talk, where we talk about everything from the budget to the bedroom. So this time we're going to be talking about how to get through troubled times.
Yes, those tough times are very challenging, can be very challenging, and if you allow them, they can take you out. So one of the nuggets that I would like to talk about today is setting up boundaries when it comes to setting up boundaries around your marriage. So today, in these nuggets that we're going to discuss, we were talking about setting up boundaries around your marriage. So what do you have to say about the boundaries around your marriage, sweetie?
They're good to have. They're good to establish. Without boundaries, people tend to cross the line. Sometimes people know the boundaries, but because they're clearly stated, and sometimes the boundaries have to be reiterated to friends, coworkers, family members. It's just very important to be able to set up boundaries around your relationships, regardless of who or what you're talking to at that particular time, be it a coworker, be it a member, be it a best friend or whatever. Because again, you have to set up those boundaries because those boundaries are more like standards that you refuse to cross in your marriage. And when you don't set up boundaries, again, people feel like they can do whatever they want to do, or as far as respect or disrespect. When boundaries are not set up, people don't respect them.
That's so true. And one of those things that I wanted to discuss when it comes to setting up those boundaries, when it comes to having a charismatic spouse, as I do, and as many of you do, the ladies are attracted to the anointing that's on his life. So you have to have those boundaries. And ladies, help me understand this. Why when you talk to the husband, you have to touch them? No. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't do that. That's a no. That's crossing the boundaries. No touching allowed with someone else's spouse when you're conversating with them. You know, that flirtatious touch and that, no, that's a no. Cut. No, stop right there. That's crossing the line. Do not cross that line. So that's one of the boundaries we set up, even in his position as a pastor, assistant pastor of our church, and standing up before couples all the time, ministering when it comes to our relationship matters and Marriage Talk TV. The wives want to attract to the male, but there's no ministering to the opposite sex because that's a boundary without the spouse present. So we have to understand and give balance to that. We don't want to give any open door, any place to the enemy. We want to draw a boundary. We want to draw that standard and make sure that we don't cross that standard. So those are a couple of the boundaries that I thought about when we brought up this discussion.
And that's a good boundary because, again, when you're dealing with rough times, those things can be a little bit touchy-feely because if you're already dealing with a situation in your marriage relationship, when that boundary is crossed, it just causes more issues and more conversation, unneeded, unwelcome, unwanted conversations, or dealing with issues that arise because those boundaries have been crossed, and it causes tough times. And if you're not able to deal with tough times in your relationships are going to continue to go through tough times. So that's what we're going to kind of touch on is how to deal with those tough times, how to deal with a spouse or how to deal with a friend that continually cross those boundaries. What do? How do you handle that? So how would you handle a person that continues to cross that boundary?
Continuous. That's a key word there when you say continuous. Before it even gets to that point of continuous, you have to say something right at the beginning, because we know these boundaries, and we know in times past when we were not in the Word, where crossing those boundaries got us. We weren't saved all our lives. So now we know this. So now, first time it happens, you speak up. You let that individual know. If it's a female with my husband needs to let her know. If it's a male with me, I need to let them know. And if one of us don't do it, the other one has all rights to step up and do that. We do it in love, and we give them understanding as to why we are doing this. It's not, it's not you. We still love you with the love of the Lord, but you must know not to cross this boundary again.
And once that individual understands that, once that individual knows that, you can go on with that friendship or that relationship or whatever it is, be it pastor, parishioner relationship, be it co-worker, friend relationship, be it family member relationship. You just really have to set up those boundaries, because tough times will come and challenge those boundaries if you don't set them up properly.
So there's lots of other boundaries that we would love to talk about at this time, but we just wanted to give you a quick nugget. Some of those boundaries when it comes to not talking about your parents. Yeah, that's a good one too. But we'll save those for later. Again, Danny and Amelia Cole with MarriageTalkTV.org, where we discuss everything from the budget to the bedroom. Thank you for joining us, and we're looking forward to seeing you at Relationship Matters.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. This has been MarriageTalkTV.org with your host, Danny and Amelia Cole. Please stay tuned for more of how to overcome the rough times as we continue to minister, setting up healthy boundaries. Remember, Marriage Talk TV, where we discuss everything from the budget to the bedroom.